United States, he doesn't give me anything additional or takes anything
Most crewmen
from my qualifications.
I'm
working. Now it's experience in the hotel, right? Because this has been on my mind for a long time, working in the Navy. But I understand
it's
from large
large
amounts of this whole degrading the crew and stuff. You go on a cruise ships every year. Hi, Tam here. One thing I often see when cruise ship jobs are being advertised is a handsome or beautiful crew member by the beach, some palm trees, cruise ship in the background, the beach nearby, and they're saying, now hiring. And you get the impression, if you've never worked on a cruise ship before, that it's a wonderful way of working and getting a taste of the world, seeing the world. And for a lot of people wanting to work on cruise ships, that's the impression they have. I'm going to go on a cruise ship and I'm going to see South America, Central America, North America, Antarctica, Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, and it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to take beautiful pictures and videos all over the world. No, it's nothing like that. All right, it's nothing like that. When you go work on a cruise ship, practically all positions except for entertainers, dancers, musicians, they might have more time to explore. The rest, you're going to have to work 12 hours a day, and depending on your position, 14, 15 hours a day. If you're a doctor on board, sometimes you might have to work 24, 28, 30 hours non-stop, depending on the emergency. And usually, as a rule, the higher your seniority, the longer your hours. Meaning, as a waiter, yes, you might have to work 12 hours a day, but there will be some segmented times with some breaks incorporated in there. And you know that from, let's say, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I've got a break, and then from that time to that time, I've got a break. If you're a hotel director, you might not have any breaks. You have to work continuously from morning to night. Of course, if you're the captain, you will work day and night, depending on the situation. If you're the doctor, you will work day and night. And so the reality for most crew members is that, look, if you're going on a cruise ship for, let's say, 4 months, say you are going on a world cruise as a crew member, you're going to be there for 4 to 6 months. And your ship is going to go from North America to Central America, the Caribbean, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, And say, for the sake of this discussion, in those 4 to 6 months, you're going to go to 40 ports. Of these 40 ports, you will probably are going to be able to see 10 ports. If you're lucky, if you're really lucky, maybe 30% of the ports. Meaning 70 to 80% of the ports, you're going to miss them. And on some ports where you get a chance to go out, you only get a chance to go out for 60 minutes to 120 minutes, 2 hours. And then you have to come back quickly, go back to work. For me, on many ports, I just had a chance to, let's say, the ship will be in Fort Lauderdale, and you just get a chance to go to Publix, buy some groceries, come back. And it's only at the end of my contract that I would actually leave the ship and decide to spend, say, a month in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and then really, take it easy, relax, enjoy, and explore. But typically what happens is that the crew will be on port manning. So in the case of the doctors, if there's 2 doctors, they will alternate the port manning situation. Meaning on the one port, one doctor must be on board in case of an emergency, and the other doctor can go out. And on the next port, you get a chance to go out and your colleague stays on board. So already 50% of the ports are missed because of the port manning situation. And then the remaining 50% where you're allowed to go out, you find that sometimes you can't go out, especially if you are the senior doctor, because you find that there is some emergencies to deal with, some medivacs have happened, you must liaise with the hospital, with the patient, with the port agent, with your medical director, and you find that of those 50% of the port that you do not miss because of port manning, another 25% you're going to miss anyway because there's no way you can go out. And then you're going to have inspections, you're going to have visitors from the office, you're going to have audits and all that stuff And so you find that, you're on a world cruise and there is maybe 40 different ports on your 4 months contract. And of these 40 different ports, you're only going to see maybe 5 or 6 ports for a very limited amount of time. In 2022, I worked for Virgin Voyages on the Scarlet Lady in Miami, and I spent 12 weeks on board. It was supposed to have been 8 weeks and a half, but there were some emergencies, so I had to extend my contract. But anyway, of those 12 weeks, cruises were short, 5 days and 4 days. It was the first cruise 5 days, and then 4 days, and then 5 days, and then 4 days. This was very, very short cruises. And the ship will go to the Dominican Republic every second cruise, and to Bimini Island, Bimini in the Bahamas, every second cruise as well. And then in those 12 weeks, from the time I embarked on the Scarlet Lady, the time I disembarked to go home, I had never been to Bimini. There was always something work-related happening, a medical situation or some paperwork to do. I had never been to Bimini. From beginning to end, I had never been to the Dominican Republic while working for Virgin Voyages because, again, there was always something to do. I had so much to do. I was always on board, always working. And that is the reality of the majority of crew members. You have crew members who go on a ship to Europe. The ship goes to Italy, to Spain, to France, to Germany, to Norway. And they're on board for 4 months, and they tell you that, in the 4 months I've been on board, I've never been to Italy, I've never been to Spain, I went to France once in Marseille. That's the story of most crew members. So yeah, it's hard work, it's long hours. Sometimes you're just exhausted when it's embarkation day, and you're free maybe that morning, you take your free time to sleep. And so even when you have the time to go out, you take that time off to get some rest and get some sleep. Cheers.